there. Are we expecting a full board tonight?
So.
Yes, full board.
Thank you.
Okay, it's 4 o'clock. I'm gonna call this meeting to order in the Denver Union School District. Ryan and Pat and Heather are present in person. Amber and Owen, can you hear me okay?
Sure can.
Sure can. Can you hear me?
I can. Awesome. Okay, so I'm calling the meeting to order. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Nope. Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries.
Point of order, why are they?
Okay, so the first item on the agenda, and just as a reminder, there's an Iowa code section that allows that members of governmental bodies be allowed to attend remotely if they need to. It's actually mandated by state law to allow members of the governmental body to attend remotely. So just for the sake of the minutes, we can have the minutes reflect that Amber and Owen are attending completely under Iowa code remotely.
For what reason?
So for section 3, the public hearing, there is a board policy regarding this, so I want to review it and say out loud what it says in regards to that policy. At public hearings, and this is board policy 214, citizens of the district who register at the door will be allowed to speak on the issue for which the public hearing is being held. Others may be allowed to speak at the board's discretion. Speakers are asked to keep their remarks as brief as possible. Prior to the beginning of the hearing, speakers and spectators will be apprised of the rules of order to be followed regarding time limitations, questions, remarks, and rebuttals. In no event will a speaker be allowed to take the time of another speaker. The board will conduct public hearings in an orderly fashion. At the beginning of the hearing, statements, background materials, and public hearing rules and procedures will be presented by the board president, which is what I'm doing right now. The board president will recognize the speakers. A board member may ask questions of the speakers after receiving permission from the board president. Only those speakers recognized by the chair will be allowed to speak. Comments by others are out of order. Individuals who interfere with or interrupt speakers, the board, or the proceedings will be asked to leave. So during the public hearing, after we open it, the first thing that I would like to do is have the presentations from the individuals that are important on this project. So it would be the architects that provided the plans that can talk about how the plans were generated. It would be Ms. Bowman to talk about discoveries and how it works within our district. Probably Brad as well to talk about how the idea even came to be. After those presenters, we would then have the public comment portion. I'm asking that any comments from the public be limited to 2 minutes. I'm doing that because I have my real job I have to attend to tonight, and I have another meeting I have to be at 5:30 tonight. So I will have to leave this meeting at 5 in order to go attend to that. If we get to that point and the meeting is still going on, then Mr. Orchis will have to take over and it can continue in my absence at that point. So with that, is there a motion to open the public hearing on the plans, specifications, estimates, etc.?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, great. Our public hearing is open on the plan specifications, form of contract, and estimate of costs for the Discoveries renovation construction project. I think it would probably be great to have Mr. Levi go first and talk about the plans, what they say, what they do, how they were developed. Unless anybody disagrees, I'm open to,
Sounds good.
okay,
Yep.
great.
Thanks.
Bet.
General public. Discoveries phase 2. It invokes the obvious question for phase 1. So this is a multi-phase project of using some underutilized classroom space in the old high school for the purpose of childcare. Phase 1 was a project on the far northeast corner of the building and houses the before and after school program. Phase 2 is now turning the old library into 2 classrooms and then repurposing 2 underutilized classrooms on the north wing that were home ec spaces, I believe. So we have a total now of 4 additional classrooms for the childcare program. All these rooms meet the state of Iowa administrative code for childcare. Childcare, of course, in this setting, a larger setting like this is considered a center, which means it is a licensed facility, which also means it has to be reviewed not only by HHS, but also the state of Iowa fire marshal. They do the code review, we submit the plans and drawings, and they review that. I realized there was some conversation about how the building is classified and is this building safe to house children? The building meets all applicable state of Iowa administrative code and the 2021 IBC or International Building Code. It is classified as an E occupancy, like all of the other spaces in this building, and that is allowed for in the code. There are exceptions as to why that would be rather than an I-4. And we have the code, which we're happy to share with anyone who's interested afterwards, as well as a white paper from the Department of Inspection, Appeals, and Licensing, state of Iowa, that also clearly prescribes how and why a building housing this type of care for youngsters should be classified as an E occupancy for the state of Iowa. I would like to commend the district and the community for supporting the childcare industry as a whole. Childcare is a feeder to the schools. Our office does a substantial amount of work in the licensed childcare arena across the state of Iowa and into Illinois. We do the design of the building, obviously, we do playground design, we do pro formas and business plans. And we will tell you, typically in smaller communities, we see population shrinkage, and that can be curbed by using 2 tools: affordable housing and childcare. Families will drive to go to work. They are not interested in driving to drop 45 minutes to drop their kids off at childcare one way. We have seen that, we've experienced that with other school districts. When school districts partner with the childcare industry, rather than trying to completely take it over, the economic benefits for the childcare industry are such that they actually can have economic vitality. When you don't, school districts don't want to handle babies. You can speak to that, that on an hourly basis, the childcare industry, they lose money on infants and toddlers. There's a ratio issue, it's simple math. You're never gonna make money doing that. Where they can make money to subsidize those is when we get the older kids involved in the childcare program. When school districts take over those older kids, it creates real economic strain on childcare industry. Thus, we don't have large center and smaller communities, and that is one reason that it's a contributing factor to population shrinkage in small town Iowa. So again, I commend the progressive nature of the school board in partnering with your local childcare industry and facilitators to have a robust system, and then also to provide educational resources so that we have our children coming into the K program ready to learn and ready to post better scores for our kids.
Thank you.
I'd be happy to entertain any questions about the design or the classification of the building. Otherwise, Brandon, did you want to talk about the budget?
Do you want me to talk about budget now?
Let's move on. Let's pause there for just a sec. Do any of the board members have questions for Mr. Levi on the plans, the certifications, the appropriateness from fire marshal, state code, anything of that nature?
None. I have no questions.
Amber or Owen, do you have any questions for Mr. Levi?
No, I'm good. I just want to say thank you to Dan for his help throughout this process. Much appreciated.
Yeah,
Amber, anything? Are you good?
I don't have any questions. Thank you so much.
Okay. I think I have any questions. You stated it, but I guess just for the record, I want to confirm, at what stage in your process do you confirm that the design is proper for all Iowa code to house children?
First thing we do.
Okay. And that involves reviewing the administrative code and the Iowa code.
The International Building Code and the Iowa Administrative Code, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so you and your team are here tonight confirming that everything about the plans, specification, and construction project as a whole is consistent and completely applicable with both the Iowa Administrative Code and the Iowa Code.
Yes, and we have documentation to support not only our findings, but the state of Iowa Fire Marshal, who does the rigorous code review, as well as HHS, has to, for this phase 2, will have to license this, and they will review that per the state of Iowa Administrative Codes.
Awesome. I don't think I have any more questions. So, okay, with that, we'll go on to budget review.
Okay. Do you want me to talk about the bid letting today? Or did you want, I think you wanted Mary to talk originally?
Well, Kathy's gonna talk a little bit about the needs. So maybe I kind of like that idea better. So why don't, Kathy, if you could touch on the needs of discoveries, kind of your how we got to this point, how this benefits the program in whatever way you want to talk about it. And I hate to put you on the spot.
Okay, I wasn't
but-
anticipating final.
Sorry,
That's
sorry.
okay.
Yeah, best you can. No pressure.
In a bottom line nutshell, this has been going on since 2003, and I'm sorry, I'm getting over a little cold here, but 2003, I was approached by the superintendent at the time and asked to partner up to start a preschool. And we started that first year with about 15, 16 kids and a couple of certified teachers and associates. Through the year, as Denver Elementary built and grew out of that building, we continued to rent space through that. I've paid rent by the room from the day we started the first 28E agreement in August of 2004. And so I have, as Dan was saying, that I've got proof of that too, that we've got rent checks. The way the partnership is set up now, and we can go back a few years on this too. We have a 2-year-old room, a 3-year-old room, 3 4-year-old rooms in that first location that we are looking to bring over to this second location. It has grown from those 15 children that started into approximately 188 to 200 children with before and after school and the early childhood programming. We take care of all of our own staff. I pay 100% of the insurance. I just got the premium that runs about $25,000, $26,000. So that is all in place through Discoveries. We are the custodial needs over there. Staff do a lot of the daily cleaning, and then we have a custodian that comes in the evening that we pay to take care of that. What we do get from the school district is they take care of the exterior of the building. And that would include mowing and snow removal. And garbage and utilities. The third component that's really the pieces within the building that are taken care of by the school. And then the other piece is we do have some children who are on IEPs through special education. And in that case, we partner with Denver schools and they supply the staff that's needed to meet those IEP needs over at the center. So there are times throughout the day where there are both Discovery's employees meeting the needs of the ratios at Discovery's, and there could be some Denver schools employees over there as well who are meeting the needs of those children on IEPs, collaborating with our staff to implement the goals needed for those children to succeed.
If I could jump in a little bit on that one. In the state of Iowa, any child that is 3 years old or older that qualifies for an IEP needs to be served. So we have to serve these kids no matter what. And what we could either serve them in a partnership program like this, or we could bus them to another school district. And we hired a person, a special education teacher, maybe 8-9 years ago, to fill that role, because we were busing kids to other places and it just didn't make sense. They were our kids and we got to take care of our own kids. So we started doing that. And yes, we do have a staff member that goes over there part of the day to serve those kids' needs. And yes, we do have a paraeducator sometimes, most of the time with these kids, that does work with those kids. That's part of the deal. That's just part of what it is. We have to serve those kids no matter what. And this partnership allows that, as opposed to having to bus them to somewhere, long ways away if needed. So it's been a really good partnership for that. Discovery is also hosts our 40-year-old statewide preschool, and they do a great job with it. And that's a service that would be very difficult for our school to undertake and do ourselves. And we appreciate that as well. But I want to clarify that the IEP part of that, that's something that we have to do, and we serve those kids, and that kid then is in the regular preschool with his or her own peers to help to help get them to be at the level of their peers by the time they show up for kindergarten. Really critical thing there. Trying to think if there's anything else. I do want to say, when we give tours, if the people have young children, that's the first question that's always asked. It's the number one question they have. And sometimes they don't even have kids yet. Sometimes they're just eyeballing a district to buy. We've had that several times and been here long enough where a lot of those have come through and they've had kids, and now their kids are in elementary, even past elementary. But when we give tours, that's the number one thing that people with young children ask is what's available for childcare, what's available for preschool. And if we did not have this partnership with Discoveries, our enrollment would be very, I wouldn't say it would disappear, but I think it would go down, because a lot of families need that and look at that to move the community. If we didn't have that, they're not going to move here. So it's a really important thing. I also want to say a couple words just in general about the project itself. We really want to get out of that Franklin Street site. It's time to get out of there. We've been trying for a few years to do that, and it's time to get out of there. The maintenance that's starting to come due on that building is going to be not cost effective pretty soon, and not to mention it costs quite a bit to heat the place too. So knocking that off would actually save a lot of money, bringing people into a building that we already heat currently. So it makes sense to do this, and it's going to help us out financially as well. And also, not only would be, having this new project done, be good for, it'd be good for our families and potential families as we give them tours. But I also wanna say that the student experience that we're having with Mr. Merch and the students doing, the parts of the work that they're able to do, it's a great learning experience for them as well, so. It's a great partnership, and it's a great project that we're looking forward to doing, hopefully.
That's it. You got to exactly what I was gonna ask you about, which is this assists in you getting, this project contemplates you being out of K2 permanently and moved into this site, is what this contemplates.
Correct.
And
It moves everything from there to here.
and it allows you to service more students with more of space as well. Okay. Do the board members have any questions for either Mr. Lowers or Ms. Bowman?
I have none.
Ryan, or I'm sorry, Owen or Amber?
I'm good, thank you.
I just had a comment with the opportunity of having this in our community. I think about education for our collegiate people who are getting an opportunity to come back to their where they were, raised. I know some of them work over there and they're getting some hands-on experience in their early education stuff. So I think it's not only helping, all of our kids and our people, it's also giving potential teachers, in our future an opportunity to get some their clinical experience and their time on with early education. So it serves a lot of different good purposes.
Thank you. Anything else? No?
No,
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay, all right, with that, I'll move on to Mr. Levi's group and kind of the estimate of costs and where you were at in forming that estimate of costs before we review the bids that did come in.
So as Brad mentioned, the school district, Mr. Mertz and his class, I guess, have taken on a big portion of the work, which has helped financially in the project, to get this to move forward. As well, commend you for taking that on as well. We've been hired to basically oversee what they're doing, and developing bid packages for this project. Knowing that they wanted to do a portion of the work, and that we would need to bid out a portion that they couldn't do. They need to be a licensed plumber or electrician to do that portion of the work. So we developed 7 bid packages, to supply the casework they will install, to supply the door, the hardware that they need to install. And then the other 5 were carpet and glazing, mechanical, electrical, flooring and ceilings. When we first started talking about this, I think it was in probably the November timeframe, that we kind of, you approached me maybe, or maybe Brad approached me. We talked at that time about doing having the class with the students do the ceilings as well as the flooring install. Have come to realize we didn't have the time to do that, a little bit of constraint there, so we decided to bid those packages out as well. So just supplying materials, it's basically a bid to supply the materials and the installer labor for them. I think at your December meeting, do you want me to go into like the overall bid of where we're at, or do you want to approve the project first?
Yeah, I'd like to approve the project first before we go into the full, yeah.
Sounds good.
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions in regards to how they came up with plans or their estimates or anything like that?
No.
Okay, that'll conclude what I'm gonna call as the beginning of the public hearing where we recognize the speakers and do the presentation to the public. Now we'll have the public comment portion of the public hearing. So just as a reminder, anyone who registered at the door that wishes to speak can come and talk for 2 minutes and then we'll move on to the next speaker. Just ask that you announce your name before you speak. And Mr. Geisler here will keep track of the 2 minutes and let me know when we're at that.
Anybody else wants to go? Ken. My name is Justin Scott. I'm a taxpayer. I'm a parent. I'm a citizen auditor. This whole project's illegal. Phase 1 was illegal. Phase 2 is illegal. Phase 3 through 100 are illegal. They talked about a 28E. That is the key that opens the door to this type of partnership. If you don't have that key, all of the spending is illegal. The school's already invested 1.2 million just for the start. They've got $370,000 into the Franklin building for an HVAC upgrade. They've got $890,000 from a grant from the state of Iowa. Businesses, I'm gonna warn you, you're taking on liability and risk with this. If you vote this forward, I will be sending a referral to Rob Sam's office for misappropriation of funds. I sent all of you an email on Saturday morning advising you of liability. I have those forms with me as well. I just want to point out Discoveries was dropped from a 5 rating to a 1. That is like bottom rung. The number 1 rating. Why are we investing this type of money into a daycare that gets a rating that's that low? So anyway, I'm available for questions if anybody has them. I've gone to the county courthouse and secured all the documents that I needed. The school and the city have both stonewalled me. Just this morning, as you see on YouTube, I was denied the opportunity to look at bills. If you have nothing to hide, you wouldn't deny me. You would just say, here, no problem, everything's on the up and up. When you deny me, that's what smells fishy. So I appreciate it. I hope you stay safe during the project. You've been warned. Thank you.
Anyone else from the public like to provide us any input on the project? Once, and twice. Okay, with that, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So move. Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Hi.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, now our next action item is a resolution adopting the plan specifications, form of contract and estimate of costs. So this is first just approving the nature of the plans and specs that were put out there for bid. And I do need a roll call on this once we get our motion.
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a roll call. Becky, when you're caught up with your notes, take your time.
Protograss,
Aye.
Teeling,
Hi.
Geisler,
Aye.
Heller,
Hi.
Burgess,
Aye.
Great, motion carries. Right, now we can consider the bids that we did receive. And I'll direct that to Mr. Levi's group to summarize the bids we got and what their recommendation was.
I don't have the full list of the bids in front of me as far as what bid packages were. Thank you. So as I said earlier, we had 7 bid packages, received, I don't know what the total number of bids were, probably 20 bids, across those 7 bid packages. So low bids, as first bid package number 1 was to supply the, casework. That number is $26,665, and Huff Contracting was low on that. Bid package 2 was for the doors and hardware supply. Huff Contracting was also low on that bid for $21,750. Bid package 3 was for glass and glazing, and that was Allied Glass at $22,735. Bid package 4 was for the acoustical ceilings. That was GNR Construction, low bid at $13,600. Bid package 5 was for the floor coverings. That was D&W Flooring out of Cedar Falls for $44,411.01. Bid package 6 was for the mechanical. Hudson Hardware, plumbing heating out of Hudson was low on that at $192,577. And bid package 7 was for the electrical from Nelson Electric at $39,995. To summarize this, when I think in December, was when the board first voted to approve the budget for the project. That all-in budget amount that was approved was $445,000. With the tabulation of bids today, we were at $464,960 for a total project cost.
And just for my own clarification, because I actually had to ask you this beforehand, when you talk about the 7 different bid packages, that's because we will be awarding those 7 different suppliers, those individual contracts. So it's not like a typical thing where you have one general contractor and that person is going out to all of their subs and or getting those different providers. We are awarding these in 7 separate sections, so to speak, with each of these individual providers.
Correct. Each of those 7 bid packages that I read, they will have a contract in AA 132. that will be signed between the school and themselves.
There's something else that just dawned on me in the past. Oh, would you think the process was pretty competitive? Were you satisfied with the amount of?
Very competitive. I
Okay,
think we had like 5 mechanical bids, which is for this size of project, is fairly rare, I would say, to get that many. I think we had 4 electrical bids, I wanna say, 5 electrical bids, so.
other questions from board members? Feel free.
Yeah, I can't remember, I don't recall if we voted on this before, but any abatement that's needed there?
So the abatement has been completed.
Okay,
Advanced Environmental completed that, probably about 3 weeks ago now.
so we voted on that at the board meeting?
That was under 10,000.
Yeah, okay.
They're complete with that work.
So the summary of the bid packages and the low bidders, that does come as a recommendation to the board from CMBA Architects, which is the letter you have from.
Yeah, I wanna make sure that number is correct, 464,690.
I think it said 960, but it is 690.
690, yes.
Amber or Owen, do you guys have any questions about the bids we received or?
I have a couple for Brandon quickly.
Excellent.
Brandon, from those apparent low bids, everyone is qualified licensed contractors, correct?
Correct.
Okay, in your experience, you are comfortable with all of those particular contractors, either in past project history, relationships, etc.?
Yes, very much so.
Okay, and I assume everyone has filled out their bid forms and everything appropriately and completely?
Yep, bid bonds, bid forms, all of it was filled out appropriately.
Thank you.
Yep.
Fine.
No.
Amber, do you have any questions?
I had one and Owen just asked it, so I'm good.
Awesome. Ryan's over here taking notes. I'm just making
No,
sure
I'm good.
you're
I'm
good.
good.
Pat, you have anything else?
No.
Okay, so that's actually not an action item. That's just consideration of them. So that's informational for you all before we formally award to the lowest responsible, reasonable bidder. I'm getting those words right. Okay, so we'll move on to item 6, which is a resolution awarding the construction contract for the Discoveries renovation construction project. This will be a roll call after a motion in a second. Is there a motion to award the contract as recommended by Levi Architects?
Do you need them for each individual bid package or
As a
just
group.
because as a group?
I think we're doing it as a group, yes.
Okay. I will make the motion to award them as presented in the bid package results. Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, and this will be a roll call from Becky after she gets caught up with her notes.
Prendergast,
Aye.
Teeling,
Aye.
Geisler,
Aye.
Heller,
Aye.
Burgess.
Aye.
Awesome. Motion carries. Thank you all for your work on this. It's exciting. This is kind of, for me, this is the kind of nearing the end of what I would call a long-term vision for our facilities management plan to ultimately kind of transition out of the K2 building and use the facilities that we have to the highest and best use and yet continue to support our working parents with a childcare facility. And it really feels good to move forward with this project. So I'm thrilled. And thanks to Mr. Murch and the kids for their engagement on this. So excited to watch them. I bet they're just gonna absolutely eat it up. So give us pictures when you can. I know you're a busy guy. I'm not making a demand, but if you could come to board meetings and kind of just, give us a 5-minute update on what they're doing, that would be awesome to watch from our perspective.
Yep.
Cool. All right, and anything else from any other board members?
Nope.
Owen, Amber, you good?
Good here, thanks.
Yep.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Thank you all. Thank you all for coming very much.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's tough.
Again, so. Like, no, like, having some weird. So we. Yeah.